Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Bowling University studio from here in the International Bowling Campus in Arlington, Texas. I'm Bart Berger, and I'll be your host for this edition of the Bowling University Tuesday Morning Profit Break. Thank you all for joining us. The Tuesday Morning Profit Break is an opportunity for sharing insights on how to grow revenue, reduce costs, enrich yourself, your team, and your business. Welcome to all of our new viewers, and welcome back to those of you joining us again. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your busy day. So grab your coffee or your favorite morning beverage, and let's get started improving your profitability. Today, we're going to be visiting one of our finalists from the Shark Tank Bowling Style. Now, we invited all of you from around the country to share your best league ideas for a chance to win $5,000. And then fellow proprietors from our League Development Committee selected our 6 finalists who presented their league concept to the Sharks at our recent Bowl Expo in Louisville, Kentucky. It was so well received, we invited all 6 finalists back to join us and share the league concept with all of you. Now this morning we're joined by Terry Miller. Let's take a look at his introduction from Shark Tank Bowling Style.
Located in York, Pennsylvania, Suburban Bowlerama was built in 1957 with 20 lanes. An additional 10 lanes were added in 1961. The center has been a staple in the community now for over 30 years, holding many charity events with Lanes for Lives being the longest-running event supporting the local Red Cross. Currently owned by Terry Miller, he is no stranger to the center and grew up bowling as a junior bowler there in 1979, and as a teenager had his first job at the center. 5 years ago, Terry was able to fulfill his childhood dream and purchase the center he grew up in. During the COVID shutdown, the center went through a major renovation. Presenting on behalf of Suburban Bowlerama is Terry Miller.
Hey, good morning, Terry. Congratulations, and thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Bart. Thanks for having us. Really appreciate being a part of the Shark Tank Bowling Style presentations.
Awesome. Thank you again there. So, hey, before we jump into this, I love the fact, I love your story. We saw that picture of you as a junior bowler, growing up in the center, then buying the center. What a great American dream. So, above everything else, congratulations on, purchasing the center over the last 5 years and pursuing your dream. What a great story.
Thanks. I really appreciate it. It's been a neat story coming back and, spending time with customers that I grew up here when I was young. On top of that, all of the new customers that have actually been here since I've been here. So it's been good.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, hey, obviously you're doing a lot of great things. You were selected as one of our finalists for Shark Tank. Before we get into the specifics of your awesome program, I always like to know, tell me a little bit about where did this idea come from?
Well, the idea really came from one of our team members. Our Friday nights weren't very good when I first took over, and even prior to that, as most centers throughout the country, Friday nights were very busy. But over time, we just lost that league that filled the house. So one of the team members came to us after a meeting and said, hey, why don't we try a date night, which is essentially a spin-off of like a wine night, women and wine night, or our pizza beer league. It's just a little different concept, but it's really a spin-off of those 2 programs.
Yeah, I love that, Terry. I love that it came from a team member, and I love that you listened and took it, embraced it. So let's say I'm visiting your center, your lovely community. I'm at the Bowlerama there, and I come to the counter and you're working. So what's the 60-second elevator pitch on what's the program from the consumer perspective?
Really, for us, it's a date night. Truly, we entail other parts of not just bowling. You can have some drinks, you can have dinner. We also have some good relationships with close, by businesses that we can, trade gift cards. So we hand out prizes throughout the night. But it's really all about fun. So when we have no rules, it's not sanctioned. I know you guys don't really like to hear that, but that's one of the things we did here in this program is not sanction it and really try to create no rules, because I feel like a lot of people, when they get into some of these league meetings that are just starting out in leagues, they get overwhelmed with all the rules. So we just decided to go that direction, and like I said, it's all about having fun, and really the group in that bowl, a lot of the sessions we become friends and actually bowl other leagues then sometimes.
Yeah, and look, thank you for sharing that. And look, all bowling is good. If we can get people interested in our great sport and our activity, and we build them up that life cycle, there'll come a time where they'll get certified and they'll get into that sport part. But for now, you're focusing on that fun aspect, which is great. So that's from the consumer perspective. So as an operator, if we were, as all operators do, we were sitting around the bar having a drink and talking about the program, what are the specific elements of this as an operator that I would need to know?
I think from an operator standpoint, for us, it creates flexibility. You can put in any time slot you want. We picked the Friday night in a 12-week program that really runs 3 different sessions. So, these folks end up bowling 36 weeks out of the year a lot of times. It's only two games. It's no tap. So you can bowl an optional third game if you'd like to stick around and practice. And that's what you really see. A lot of the teams stick around and do that together. But I really think the most important part is doing what your center can do best, and focus around that for this date night. It doesn't always have to be about beer and food or craft beer. If it's something else you do at your center.
Yeah, I like that. And I think one of the things that you talked about that I really want to drill in on a little bit for our viewers today is that you've packaged this as kind of a 3-game format, but the reality is they bowl 2. And the third game is optional. And I find that fascinating that third game is kind of optional. It's non-traditional. We don't traditionally think about that in a league format, that we always think, well, leagues have to bowl 3 games. That's the way it always is. But tell me a little bit about that optional third game, and just on average, how are people perceive that, and how many people actually stay and participate in that?
Actually, we do that, in date night. We do it in women and wine. We do it in a handful of other ones, but some of them come in early. Some of them bowl it religiously every week. Some folks that are tight for time, they only just come in and bowl league. So I would say probably 75% of the leagues generally participate in that extra optional game.
Yeah, I love that. And then you also build in your particular program, you build in a couple of drinks as part of the package. So regardless, it's not based off of skill, it's really the experience of the whole thing. So did I get that correctly, that everybody gets something, when I'm there during that experience?
Yeah, everyone gets drinks, whether it's a soft drink or if they want adult drinks, if they want to upgrade to craft drinks. So it's another way to generate a little more revenue. The other part of it is a lot of them come to eat too. They'll eat ahead of time or they'll stick around afterwards and eat. So, with that being said, it does help generate a little more revenue for us with creating that optional upgrade. Initially, we did not do that. We just did domestic drafts. That we really had no flexibility when I first started doing this, and the more we started talking about it and actually talking to the customers, they like that idea. So we probably have, I would say 50% of the league probably does the upgrades now.
That's awesome. So 50% of the folks upgrading, more incremental revenue for the center, better experience for the guest. And, as we know, craft beers is one of the hottest things out in the market right now. I want to touch on the point you mentioned, no league rules. And we kind of have this mindset again in traditional saying that you have to have rules there. So do you have any current league bowlers participate in this, or how does the no league rule thing work?
Actually, it's funny you ask. We really did start the first couple of sessions maybe without any rules. Then it actually got more competitive. We had some traditional league bowlers that bowled in league, and it just got more competitive. So we did have to add a few rules in, but not to the point, obviously, what general traditional leagues have. So it's, again, creates enough flexibility and doesn't overwhelm any of the new folks that do join that league as far as from a rules standpoint.
Yeah, good. So let's switch gears and talk a little bit about the results, of course, because awesome. It's very appealing from the consumer standpoint. You've walked through some of the elements from the operator standpoint, but at the end of the day, how has this impacted your business? And let's talk a little bit about what's the financial impact and the results.
Well, our first session really was very encouraging, because we had no idea what it was going to do. We went from essentially a ghost town and not many, a little bit open play to, 22 teams the first session we did, and it's pretty much averaged about 15 teams per session. And then as far as from a revenue standpoint, you're looking roughly between the bowling and the beverages and food and beverage side of it. You're looking about per session somewhere between $15,000 and $16,000 per session.
Yeah, that is some great results there. And interestingly enough, you mentioned that you run it in shorter segments, 12 weeks, but because the guest is having a great time, they're not thinking about it. They're rolling over and they're participating in that second or that third session. So you, without committing them to 36 weeks or 24 weeks, you're getting them to that level.
Sure, and really that's the other part. Not just are they bowling continuous sessions. Literally, if you start thinking about how much time they stay here afterwards, if they're bowling that optional third, they'll end up sometimes staying for glow bowl, or cosmic bowling. That league starts at 6:30. Some of them stay till 10 o'clock. I mean, like I said, it's really it's almost like a team building exercise. All the teams end up bowling together and hanging out a little longer, which is nice to see.
Yeah, well, Terry, you have packaged some incredible points here that I don't want to get lost with our viewers in the Short and Tight segment, that you've taken a fun short season format and you automatically are rolling it over. You've gone non-conventional with not using rules and allowing folks to do a 2-game format with the optional third game, and all things that are meeting the needs, of where the guest is, and it's phenomenal. So one last question while we have you here this morning is, if I was an operator and I was running this for the first time, or now you've got several seasons under your belt, anything that you would share with us today that we might learn from, or anything you do differently, or just kind of something you say, hey Bart, if you're going to run this program, make sure you do this?
Well, I think from my initial experience was, try to create some flexibility within the actual program itself. Don't say you have to get X, Y, Z. Some of those folks may not want to drink that, which may turn them off to maybe participating in the league. So I would create flexibility. But in general, this league, I think, creates flexibility for the operator itself, because you can put it into a time slot that really only takes an hour and a half or two, just depending on your availability. But I think creating that flexibility for the customer, and that's just the feedback we've got over the time, and they seem to really enjoy that. And we're just trying to keep working and trying to get better. And if there's anything else we can create with it, we'll try to do that.
Yeah, I love, Terry, that you're building the product for the guest, not expecting them to buy the product that you want is the product that they need. So good for you. It's a great program, a lot of great elements. Thank you for taking a few moments to be with us this morning, and I know that this season is going to be another great success for you.
Thanks, Bart. Thanks for having us be a part of Shark Tank. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, congratulations on a great presentation, great program. So, hey, folks, you have an opportunity not only to learn more about today's great program that Terry shared with you, but also get a copy of 98 different league ideas. Just visit bowlinguniversity.net and look for the Shark Tank icon to download all the files, 98 great league ideas. So as we wrap up another edition of the Tuesday Morning Profit Break, remember that when your focus is on growing people will grow your business. We look forward to seeing you next week at 10:15 Eastern for another great episode of the Tuesday Morning Profit Break. If you have any questions about today's show or would like additional information, you can reach us anytime at education@bpaa.com. Also, you and your team can watch any of our previous episodes 24/7 by visiting bowlinguniversity.net. Until then, I'm Bart Berger, and remember, do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. We'll see you next week.